evergreen song coming from Abrante Amakye Dede. It is called Iron Boy. And at this stage, I want to ask Trigmatic that what did he really mean when he said Amakye Dede? I don't. You were here. You guys maybe. Who else was here? Who else was here? Chief Charles, you, get ready. Yeah. What was the discussion about and what happened? Because I hear some people are on the case of Trigmatic and some few people who made such statements. I hear Rexuma also said what? Kofi Kinata.
Yes. Okay, so this was a lyricist. This was a topic. We wanted to find out who a music writer or a songwriter is. So what makes a songwriter a good songwriter? Is it, how complex the song is? How easy the song is, and what are the parameters to look at when you're describing someone as a very good songwriter? Okay. And this came on the back of Kofi Kinata's new song, which is
Confession.
Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart, yeah.
There was all these talks about it, and then Kwame Dazi put out a 15-member
yeah, list. I think I saw it.
I saw 15 that. Names
as his best songwriters.
Or either of all time or of now, best songwriters, 15 names. So we decided to go into it to find out what or who a songwriter is. So in doing so, we needed to talk to certain industry people who have put out very, very, very good works, like Trigmatic, Rexoma, and also we spoke to Akwabwa. So whenever you came on the line, the first thing was, give me your top 5 or your 5 songwriters in your own opinion. And so Trig came on the line, gave his top 5 songwriters. In fact, we spoke to Rex first, and Rex gave his top 5 or 5 songwriters that he feels should be counted. And then he said that Kofi Kinata, even though a lot of people tip him to be one of the best songwriters we have at the moment, he feels he is a very good lyricist. And that when it comes to songwriting, we have people who write the melodies. So it goes beyond just the words into the harmonies, the melody. It's a whole complete job. So there are people who are good with both. Like Akwabwa, he can write the lyrics and also compose the song and put the two together as a great songwriter. And so he said Kofi Kinata is a very good lyricist and not necessarily a complete or full-fledged songwriter. So in this list, we didn't include Kofi Kinata.
Okay.
We didn't include Kofi Kinata.
In whose list?
In Rexoma's list of songwriters.
Okay.
He only made that clarification even before he went ahead to put out his list. And then we didn't add Kofi Kinata to his list. And then Trig came on the line, and Trig said, if I'm to put out the list of songwriters that I know, I'm going to break it into 2. Songwriters of then, like generation that I came to meet, and then generation that I am part of.
Okay.
And then he mentioned the generation that he came to meet and gave out a list of names. And then I asked, would you add, he mentioned that Lumba, I think Smart in Cancer, and a few others. And then I asked, where would you place Amakye Dede? Or would Amakye Dede be part of your songwriters of then? Then he said, well, I think I have heard that Amakye Dede used to have a writer. He wasn't specific, like, okay, I'm not adding Amakye Dede because I know he has a writer. He said he's heard that he has a writer who used to write for him. He couldn't put out a name, but he said something like that Amakye Dede has somebody who writes for him. And so even though he knows he has good songs and he's done all he has to do, he heard that somebody writes for him, so he probably might not be part of the list of his songwriters. Based on
he doesn't know, he's only heard.
He's only heard that he used to have somebody who writes for him. So that's what Trigmatic said. And then the other clarification that was done was from Rexoma when he said that Kofi Kinata, though you people say he's a very good songwriter, I feel he's a very good lyricist. And not necessarily one that writes, the lyrics and also goes ahead to write the melodies of the song. And then Akwaba also came on the line and he said, look, you can even have someone who is only good at writing the melodies. And then you will find your lyrics to it. So by the time you come to the studio, he has the melodies in his mind that I want it to sound this way or sound that way, and I want this side to go up. And they mentioned how do you say simulations? I can't say all the syncopation and all those things that come with it. So these are the conversations we had on the line on that day. It was about songwriting and who a good songwriter is.
Okay.
and then the list from their own opinion who they think are good songwriters. Akwaba gave his list, Kwame Dazi gave his 15 list, Rexoma gave his list, and then Trigmatic also gave his list.
So just as some music lovers or some people who are kingpins in the music industry date their top rappers,
good.
That is the greatest of all time rappers.
Good. Which Ghana Halfco played very.
You also push them to do their own list of songwriters.
Some gave 6.
So Trig did not mention Amakye Dede as one of his best songwriters because according to him, he's heard that someone writes for him.
I asked him. Where would you place Amakye Dede? You know,
what is the issue with management of Amakye Dede? Because yesterday Kwesi Abuaji called me. Kwesi Abuaji is the manager of Amakye Dede. And when he called me, because I was not aware of the issues, I couldn't say much. I only handed Mr. Massive the phone to Mr. Massive to handle. He took over.
I think Amakye Dede is peeved because he feels Trig.
It's an insult to him.
Has said that he doesn't write his songs, and for him, it's a big deal if after all these achievements, somebody will come up publicly to say, "I did not write my own songs," or "I have somebody or somebody who writes my song for me." It's a subject for bragging. You know, Daddy Lumba and all these old folks, they feel. They did the writing, they did this, they did that, and it's something they brag about, something they feel good about, you know, something they hold on tight to. That's what makes them who they are. Like you mentioned Amakye Dede, and they tell you, look, the kind of songs that he puts out, the kind of messages he
even the Iron Boy we just listened to, I was shocked even Jibril was singing along. Jibril like Jibril.
Iron Boy.
This morning's Jibril
singing Iron Boy. It's amazing. So the songs they put out and the message they pass in their songs, it won't make people love them for who they are. Like Uti Amakye Dede and more to and no tia. They are ufemu piano.
Let's throw back.
Says that you don't write your songs. It's quite painful.
Let's throw back to the day that these statements were made, and we're going to listen to exactly what Trigmatic said. It hurts me. Kwesi Abuaji might be on radio now. We would have called him to really ask what their problem is, but maybe they've spoken to Trig already, so when he comes on the line he can also tell us more. But then this is what Trigmatic said in an interview with Anna Mason Levanyo last week.
Numo, how you doing?
I'm good, boss. Yourself?
I'm good. I know where we're going, so I'm good. Trig, Ritual, before we move on with the conversation, let me know whom your top 5 best songwriters of all time in Ghana are.
Wow. If we're saying of all time.
Yes.
Can I break it into 2?
You can. Why not?
Because I have top 5 for the younger ones and top 5 for the older generation.
Please do. Give me the 2.
Okay, so I mean my top 5 in Ghana now currently, young people, apart from myself.
Yeah.
I mean I'll say I love
Akwabwa.
Sinaso.
Okay, Sinaso.
Yes, Kofi Kinata. AI. Okay, AI.
Walasi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your top 5. Okay, you adding some?
Yeah. And come again.
Are you adding more?
Well, I was just gonna say, we normally don't realize the work that Raquel writes, but she's a very good writer.
Raquel. So I can add Raquel.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's for now. Let's go to then.
Yes. So then, one of the very greatest writers for me has been Ephraim Amu. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think he's an amazing writer. Also, I love coming back down, Kodwenchi. Yes, Kodwenchi is an amazing songwriter.
Okay.
Daddy Lumba is an amazing songwriter as well.
Okay.
How many have I mentioned?
You've mentioned 3. 2 to go.
Okay, 2 to go. I love Smart and Cancer. Yes.
Okay.
And I love the writing of what's his name? J.A. Adolfo. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So 5 for then, and then we also have 6 for now.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good. This one I don't know if you would add him or not. How about Amakye Dede?
Yes, Amakye Dede. Well, you see that thing. I love his songwriting, but I also know that he used to have a songwriter.
Okay.
Some years back.
Okay.
I've forgotten his name. He's dead now.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Now I'm just saying, if I am not, because I this is a story I heard from Makable. And I've also heard the same from one of the older musicians. So I know that there's some consistency there.
Okay. So Trig, what would you say a good songwriter should have?
Well, if you ask me what a good songwriter should have, I think that in songwriting, there are different kinds of songwriters. There are ones who are able to write the music, which are like composers, and then there are lyrical songwriters. So they write the words, they put the words in, and then there are ones who do both.
Okay.
So I think a songwriter should be one that is well versed in the skill of putting words and melodies together to create a beautiful piece. That's how I would define it. I think they should be able to have a tendency to put the words in melody to create a very beautiful sound.
Right.
Well,
and do we have a lot of them?
That was the conversation that brought this story on ghgossip.com that says Amakye Dede does not write his own songs. Trigmatic drops bombshell. And yesterday, manager of Amakye Dede, Kwesi Abuaje, was all over looking for Trigmatic to whip him. I am sure. So it's Trig already on the line. Let's go on the line. And Arnold, I'm sure you have to be alert because you do more of this. Yes, Trig. Good morning.
Good morning, brother. Welcome back.
Big man, thank you so much, and I want to believe you are good.
Yes, well, I'm fine, by grace.
Are you sure you are fine? Because I hear you are being chased by management of Amakye Dede and all that.
Well, actually, every job comes with its hazard, and I guess we all have to bear it when it comes to us, and also be responsible for our actions as well. I mean, which is why we're having a conversation this morning.
Great.
Yeah.
What has been the discussion? Have you received any call from the camp of Amakye Dede so far about your statements you made here on Xylophone FM?
Yes, I had not even seen the story. I received a series of calls, but I didn't know some of the numbers. There were some that I didn't pick up, and then I did get some calls from the man himself. He wasn't too happy with my statements on the show, and also Akwesi called me, and I explained from my angle that it was without any malice. I had no intentions to defame him or anything of that sort, So he spoke to me that they're not happy, which I said in order to bring peace and from a very responsible and respectful point, I'd rather not necessarily explain or express, because that will only drag the entire thing. Rather do the needful this morning on the same platform, which I suppose gave a statement that they're not happy about. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Trey.
Yes, one thing I want to put out is that I have no intention whatsoever to defame anybody. From my records, I've been very consistent in honoring some of these legends. And I mean, from J. Adolfo to Ebo Taylor recently, I wish I got the same clout for it when I did these events. However, it's just happened that it has to be so. And I want to take this opportunity to render an apology that whatever I said that didn't go well with the man himself, not only because he's a musician, but also because he's a predecessor and he's a legend at it. That's number one. Number two, he's a chief. So he's a father of the soil, and he must be respected. I take back my words. If he wasn't so happy with it, I meant no evil. I had no evil intentions. I had no intention of defaming him or destroying his image or hard work. It's a clear issue of an irresponsible statement or a loose thought that came out, and I take back my words, and I'm not proud to render an apology, which is why this morning I'd want to, instead of getting into what happened and all of that, I'd want to say that I'm really, really sorry, and that statement was irresponsible. I take responsibility for it, and I hope that they will take it in good faith.
I see. So after putting out this apology, should we assume that you admit to it that whatever you said the other day were lies, or they were not factual?
I would say they were not factual. For the sake of peace, I'd want to say that. I'd want to make that statement, that so that because media has a role to play as well. So in order to let it lie, I'd rather state that these statements were not factual, and I take full responsibility for it.
Oh, okay. Are there lessons learned from this? Knowing that you said something that you would come back to render an apology, an unqualified apology to it, and again add that you were not factual with it. Have you learned a lesson? Because I'm scared that moving forward, whatever man like Trigmatic will be saying, people will say, "Oh, Adechi Obabeka said it was not factual."
Oh, I have a record, Basami. I am not. This is the first, and it's for so many reasons why one has to. It's very important because I would one day become like Amakye, and which is one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. It has nothing to do with whether people are going to believe or not. And the right thing must be done, and which is what I've done. Professionally, these things are done, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I could have said maybe a PR person of mine should do it, but I wanted it to come from me personally. So that's the lessons learned is will probably be to stick to a topic when I have to, or probably not render an interview when I do not have the necessary inputs.
Oh, I see. But so if it hadn't been the fact that they are not happy, you wouldn't have taken this stance, your current stance, I guess.
Oh no, what it is that it's important that you take into consideration a person's reaction or feeling about any statement you make, whether you have facts or not. It's important that you take it into consideration. So for me, I think that it's very, very important.
Should we blame Arnold Mensah-Levanyo too? For putting you in a corner that you were not ready to be there?
Oh no. He's a journalist. He's doing his job. It was my responsibility to also manage my thoughts and my words. So me and him, Charlie, was two G's. So for him, what did he do? He was doing his job. I've been in that seat before.
Yeah.
So I know what the job takes and all of that. But one thing I want to say is that, which I said, I wish, but that all those times, when we did the honor, which I know your show did, the J. Adolfo one.
Sure.
I wish that the same bloggers or the same person that put the story out would have written about the Ebo Taylor honoring, and the fact that we brought him from Saltpond, and anytime we have honored any of these people, other people had, it brought some of enlightenment for other people. I remember after J. Adolfo, 3 Music honored J. Adolfo as well. And currently, when we did the Ebo Taylor one, I think he's been nominated for Access and a few other awards as well. So we're doing a good thing, and we wish that would be put to light as well as when we do something that's is irresponsible. That as much as it's said, the good things must be said as well.
I see. I know Treg is here. I'm sure out of your questions, the man finds himself at the wrong corner of Amakye Dede's house. I don't know what you would add to him before he leaves.
He's done the honorable thing by coming out to apologize. Amakye Dede is a chief, and beyond that, he's also a legend. So if he feels
chiefs don't do wrong, chiefs don't go wrong.
Oh no, it's not about chiefs don't go wrong. Amakye Dede hasn't gone wrong.
Okay.
He's only expressed how he feels about something that Trigmatic has said. Whether or not there's nothing like he being wrong or right here.
Okay.
So let's
no, because of your your preamble that he's a chief.
No, chiefs go wrong, but even that there's a way you go about it. You don't just because it's gone wrong, you don't just come out saying things that you're not supposed to say or dealing with it the way you're not supposed to deal with. So I think Drake has done the honorable man's honorable thing by being a gentleman and coming out publicly on the same platform that he said it to render an unqualified apology to them. And he settles the matter. He puts it to rest.
Okay. Now, Drake, is there other thing you would want us to know before you say goodbye to us?
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I have a lot of respect for the man, and I appreciate every work he's done. And also, I've had an education after that. I spoke to a few members of his team, so I know what the story is. But aside that, I have an album out. Is the Eighth Element is out on all streaming stores, so people can go get it and buy it as well. Currently, one of the songs is I think it's about number 13 or so on Apple Music, so it will be good for it to get more streams so we can come up. But go and check it out. The video with Rihanna is coming out soon, and all other works that's on the album, we have videos coming out, so look out for that. Next month I should be in South Africa for something, but I'm sure the announcement will come out soon. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed and wish well.
Nice one.
Thank you so much, Xylophone.
Anytime, bro. This is your home. All right. Thanks for talking to us, Trigmatic there. And I believe you come back to pick some one or two opinions on this. Amakye Dede seems to be in the news for some wrong reasons lately. First was at the just ended Ghana Music Awards, where he wrongfully put the crown on the head of Kwame Eugene. And today he's also in the news for chasing musician for saying he doesn't write his own songs. But then in the conversation, Drake mentioned what's his name, the guitarist Akable, that Papaka has also said Amakye does not write his songs. Can we get to Papaka to find out this from him?
Sure.
And should someone's opinion be an issue for management to be chasing him?
Okay, I think someone.
You know, I'm asking this. I'm asking this because of the position Kwesi Abuaji finds himself.